Okay, so I just wanted to show you how absolutely garbage the glare filter is on the Samsung S95D to the left versus the S95B to the right. I just randomly decided to recompare, so we're going to do that. So the first thing you'll notice is, yes, you see glare on the S95B, but you don't see it here. But now here's the problem. Look at what it does to the image. You can clearly see it's just flat, ugly. It doesn't really look like a premium experience at all. Now, one can argue, yeah, but I don't like that glare in the window or in your screen. Okay, and again, I will show you what you do. We simply close windows, doors. I don't care what you gotta do, turn off lights, anything that would limit a reflection, because I'm using my cell phone right now to show you that even on a cell phone, you'll be able to capture just how poor the contrast is on the Samsung S95D. It is, there's no other way to say it, shit. It is so bad that I don't see the 3D that I have here. I don't see the isolation there. I don't see the depth between the characters and the rain in the background. It's fucking flat. It's literally a 2D image, and they're charging top fucking dollar for it. It actually pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie, when I recompare and I look with multiple examples and different scenes, because I mean, just humor me. Just, okay, we're gonna hit play and just look. Just look at how fucking, dude, like, what the fuck? Look at those faces right now. One looks so fucking nice and so clean and so clear, and the other one looks like fucking horseshit. And this is a top premium experience. This is the flagship model, the replacement model, quite literally, for the S95B, being that it's the S95D. This video really should show you that newer is not always better. Yeah, sure, they're going to claim that if you pay the premium price tag, you're just going to get more. And it just makes more sense to throw more money at companies that don't give a fuck about you or your family. But the reality is, paying more money often just ends up being a detriment. You see, you're not really wanting for any of the extra brightness that the S95D offers. Yeah, it's a little bit brighter, but you really can't tell when you look at the clarity of the Samsung S95B. The S95B is bodying it in a lot of examples. I mean, the clarity and everything. Now, granted, it's cell phone footage, so it's not going to look totally great, which I don't really care about. But the point is just showing you the difference in clarity. You can see it even in this scene. The background details like trees look way better. Buildings in the background look better. Cityscapes look better. Little geometries like that crane look better. Everything literally looks better, and it leaves you the question, fucking whose idea was it to put this crappy, cheap LCD fucking screen looking shit on a premium flagship model to the point of literally a blur filter on almost everything you look at? Because when you go back and you start making settings for this TV to try to get it to look like that one, this one easily shows itself as being the clearer one. Look at this fucking example right now. It literally looks hazy and shitty. It's literally like, why would you ever buy the S95D if you have an S95B? It's like you maybe heard it's an upgrade until you look at it and you can clearly see it's not an upgrade. And when cell phone footage can show this off, not even my fancy DSLR camera, which is down there on the shelf somewhere, okay, you can clearly see that it looks bad. Now, the point of this video is, again, strictly educational, because Lord knows these manufacturers aren't going to listen to a damn thing either of us say. But the point is simply this. Be careful with how you spend your money, because you're going to hear professionally calibrated, 144 hertz, the brightest OLED ever, glare-free screen, and all that shit sounds good on paper. Every year they put shit that sounds good on paper. On paper. That's their job. It's called marketing. Hello. But in the real world, when you really spend your money, this is what you get. And you should be really, like, kicking yourself if you threw away your S95B for the S95D because it was newer without doing a comparison. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's not better. Not in the sense that, like, the overall clarity. Yeah, sure, you have higher quality of, again, the brightness, yay, but that's the only trick it has really in certain examples. And again, once you start pushing and readjusting and recalibrating and keep going back and trying to pull the most out of the S95B, it can go further. Also, it's important to note that this year we only have 89% of the BT 2020 color space. Now, again, if you don't know what those numbers mean, it's just future-proofing for HDR. You have more future-proof on the old model that's 2 years old than the new model, which hypothetically should have had more color coverage, but it has less. That should tell you, again, that you're not actually buying an upgrade. But again, if you don't have software, equipment, tools, and you can't measure this stuff for yourself, as most of the general public doesn't, they're able to pull a fast one like they did. And I'm here to tell you that this actually freaking sucks. We shouldn't be here. Look at how hazy it is in comparison with a window open. You can see the glare adds to that foggy look. Now, if you do end up with the Samsung S95D to the left, I'm going to tell you the scenes like this are basically where you'll notice the biggest difference. Anything that's near black or a really dark scene that has a lot going on, you're going to notice a lot of issues in terms of, again, clarity loss. That's basically the big deal. Anytime you have dark, mostly dark elements, like now, you'll notice that there's going to be, again, a lot of issues when you have bright objects introduced in a mostly dark. When it mixes and there needs to be a fair balance of contrast, it just won't exist. Take a look at this scene and it becomes very clear. I'm going to pause right here and you can see the amount of three-dimensionality coming off the Samsung S95B. Every little entrance point in that cave, from the rocks to, the symbiote little vines here, you can see that everything's three-dimensional, truly a three-dimensional object. Look at that rock over there. Look at this rock over here. If I told you that this rock was on a 2024 flagship model that cost $3,000+, you'd think I was crazy. You'd probably laugh me out of the room. And that this was actually the 2-year-old flagship, you'd laugh me out of the room. Let me say this for anyone who is wondering. You do not get what you pay for. Newer is not always better. You have to hold these companies to their claims because they're going to come out every year and say certain things and it's not what they say it is. Marketing is the biggest part of every aspect of consumer goods. It has now become our job to become the cyber sleuths, if you will, to see what they say and to hold them to the truths of what we know they should mean. And it just doesn't happen like that, guys. Now, if you look at this image, again, it speaks 1,000 words. But now I also wanted it to be like this because you see I have a window open. You can see the glare and everything literally right here. And I did this on purpose because while they tell you that the glare-free screen is a massive, massive benefit, I want you to see it in real time up against something that doesn't have a glare-free screen with a window open, by the way. And it's not the detriment that everybody pretends it is to have done this. You have less color. You have weaker black levels. Everything overall is just weaker for the sake of being weaker. And the biggest crime is the lack of three-dimensional pull into the image and clarity. So yeah, it's not ideal. It's not wonderful. It's not fantastic in any way, shape, and or form to have such a detriment of a screen on a flagship model. But I figure with showing multiple examples and being fairly dramatic, you'll be able to see a vast difference in clarity. Honestly, if I'm being real with you, it feels like I'm looking at an LCD monitor to the left versus an OLED to the right with the lack of clarity. That's just the effect that a matte finish screen has. Some people have argued that we finally have options on the market for matte finish screens for people who need them, and all you people who hate it want to do is trash it and be cruel or harsh with it, to which I'll just simply say this. It's great to have options on the market. I'm glad that we finally have options, but they should not come at such a detriment and then furthermore come at such an extreme price tag. I'm sorry to say, but for what they're offering and what they're showing here, it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense that they would have done this, but they did. So yeah, that's just kind of my little gripe there. But either way, hopefully with these multiple examples, you're seeing what I'm talking about and you're able to feel the difference. And by the way, just to reiterate again, I am using a cell phone because I want you to really see the difference on not the best camera, something you could do yourself in a store, okay? Well, you can't do it in a store because they're not rocking my settings, but you get my point. Also, I also want to point out the fact that, again, everybody's perception of things is going to be different. I understand people are going to have a different opinion. However, I think when you can see clear clarity differences, that's where we get into fact territory of a lack of three-dimensionality and a lack of clarity. And so that's the information. Hopefully this finds somebody well. If you were on the fence and you maybe had an S95B thinking, ooh, maybe I want to upgrade, fucking don't do it. It's not worth it. That's just kind of like what I'd say there. If you have the desire for extra brightness, there is a benefit of extra brightness, but it's not so much of a benefit that I would recommend throwing away something that clearly shows a three-dimensional picture with a ton of fucking color that would make you just literally cream your jeans, okay? Versus something that would make you feel like you bought a cheap-ass TV always grabbing for the remote. Just saying. Thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty, and until the next video, I'll see you guys later.